Hi YouTubers. A friend of mine has asked me to talk about the clinical pathway and my process on that pathway. So here goes. This is the steps I took and my process. The usual steps are out to your GP, referred to the mental health team locally. They refer you on to the gender clinic. The gender clinic do your 5 assessments, depending which clinic that you go to, obviously, because some do a lot less assessments. And then usually hormones, once the endocrinologist has seen you and passed you for them. And then second opinion for surgeries, and then your surgeries. This can be done at any speed you want, really, the surgeries. It's entirely up to you. And it's how you handle that, really, to be honest. Once you've got your second referral and you're dealing with it with your gender clinic and your nurse specialist. My process was almost that, to be honest. I came out to my GP in January 2008 after the breakdown in my relationship with my girlfriend. She was a lesbian, I was a man. That wasn't going to work, no matter how much you tried to dress it up. At the end of the day, we are who we are. She liked women, and I was a man and wanted to become a whole male. So that wasn't going to work. So we split, and she has, supported me online through the process. So that's really nice that we can still talk. Anyway, getting on with the process. So I went to my GP, and my GP thought I was very brave, and I said, no, I'm not brave. And as many of you know, it's not about bravery, it's about we have to do this. This is necessary totally to be able to carry on and become fully functioning adults and carry on with our lives and get on in society. So I said to her, I really, I need you to help me so I can transition. I'm a trans man and I would like to transition. And she said, well, do you think you'll want to fully transition? And I said, yeah. I said, for me, this is what it's about. It's about transitioning fully to male, and for me there's no other option. So I will be looking to go through the whole process. So she referred me on to what she thought was the right place, which was the Hull Psychological Services. And while I was waiting to go to them, I had counselling because I was off work with reactive depression because of everything that had, happened, relationship breakdown, lots of stuff in the workplace around me, around my gender and sexuality, really, and also the main issue was now that my gender dysphoria had absolutely hit the peak, and there was no way I could do anything else but to move forward and sort it out and transition. So I went for counselling. I went for 6 sessions with this lovely lady, and she wasn't a gender specialist. She was brilliant. She wanted to learn and said that she had no problem being my sounding board. And I said, no. I said, that's what I need. Somebody who can listen to me while I put all the pieces together. And then hopefully at the end of the 6 sessions I'll be ready to move forward and deal with this transition successfully. She was marvellous, and by the end of the 6 sessions I was ready to move on, and I knew that when the doctor and sorted things out, that I'd be ready. And when I went to the psychologist, as I thought I would be going to, I'd be ready to ask her to refer me to the gender clinic. In May, I went to the Hull Psychological Services, and it was the wrong place, bless her. And the woman was lovely, but she didn't have a clue why I was there. And she said, I really, this isn't my thing, but I know somebody who can help you. She was very interested in what was going on for me, and she really felt for me, and she said, I'm going to refer you to somebody who can help you. So she referred me to Helen the same day. I went to see Helen, and Helen heard my story, as she was an advocate and is still an advocate, and she helps trans people and to sort a clinical pathway out when they're having problems and things. And she rang pals up for me and told them my story, and told them I desperately needed to get back to work because I'd been off almost 6 months, but I wasn't getting anywhere, and that I'd been referred to the wrong place, so I really needed to be referred to the local mental health team so I could be assessed and referred to the gender clinic in Leeds. They were very good, and I got me appointment at the beginning of September 2008, and I went to see the local mental health team. They were excellent, and I only actually had one appointment with them. Sometimes you can have two, but I only had one. I saw the psychiatrist's sidekick. She was very good. Asked me, the usual questions. How old were you when you first felt like this? What was the most significant thing you can remember that indicated that you was in the wrong body? How long have you been living and working? Do your family know? Do your friends know? How accepting are they? How are you dealing with it? All those sorts of things. How far I wanted to go, what was my expectations, what sort of surgeries did I think I wanted, did I want hormones, how long did I think the process was going to take. It was lots and lots of, lots and lots of questions, all related to the process, and she wanted to basically know my knowledge and how much research I'd done really, and did I know what I was letting myself in for, which I did because I'd been researching it for over 2 years. So I knew what I was in for, and I knew, that I was definitely sure that this is what I wanted to do. She went and told the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist, after a bit more questioning from her, the psychiatrist okayed it and said I would be referred to Leeds GIC. I thought it would take forever to get there, but I was very lucky, and within 3 months I went for my first appointment at Leeds GIC. My initial appointment, where they do the, little forms, find out about yourself, and get you ready for the 5 assessments. Sometimes it can be 6. It depends really, because they can fast track you, which indeed is what happened to me. So, this first appointment I went to at Leeds was brilliant, and the nurse said to me, I'll be honest with you, he said, you don't really need us, he said, only for your surgical referrals. He said, I thought you was on hormones when you walked through the door. Because you passed really well and everything else. And he said, what did you think you was going to get when you came here today? And I said, well, I did dream I might get hormones, but I said, I know that's not realistic. I said, really, I just want to know that I'll be able to move forward now and be assessed to go on hormones. And he said to me, well, you can go back to your GP and you can tell him that I was happy with what I saw and heard, and that if he's willing to prescribe you hormones, that will be fine, and he can ring me up and double check and everything, and I'll talk to him. And I was very lucky, because I know this doesn't happen as usual. I don't know, I was lucky. The gods were looking down on me or something. And I came back, I was absolutely bouncing. I rang the GP straight away, and 5 days later I was on testosterone. Unbelievable. What a Christmas present. After that, I had 5 assessments. After the 3rd assessment with the psychiatrist, which is usually when you do see the psychiatrist on the 3rd one. Sometimes he comes in on the 1st one, but usually it's the 3rd one. I said to him, well, I would like me referral for surgery. And he said, well, I'm quite happy to give you that, because you've been living, working and everything else. I'm quite happy with what I've heard. Guys, sorry I had to cut that video for a few minutes. Anyway, getting back to my process. Yeah, the psychiatrist was very, very happy with my living, working and everything. Happy with what he'd seen, happy with what he'd saw, happy with all the reports. Something I didn't mention was they do like to see that you've changed your name, legally, officially, change your name deed and all of that, because they see that as a commitment, a big commitment, changing your name. So I'd done all the necessary bits and pieces, so he was quite happy to do the real life test, refer me, and take it from there. Time out again. So I got referred to Leicester at the time, to Mr. Cousall. Now, Mr. Cousall, he does private referrals now, but the NHS can refer you to him. I went through the NHS at the time, which was in July 2009. So at this point I'd been 6 months on hormones, and I'd had all my assessments, and I was now going for my second opinion. So that was quite fast, really. At that time. So I went down to see Dr. Cousall in July, and in November or December I had my first surgical referral to see Mr. Neeshaw at Castle Hill Hospital, to see if he could construct my chest. We had gone previously through Helen's surgeon, who'd done her boob job, to Professor Drew, who we didn't know had moved down to Cornwall, or down to that area. So we'd written to him to see if he would be interested in doing an F2M chest. The letter had gone to him, and he'd actually wrote back to me and said, yes, I would love to do your chest if you would like to come and spend a week on the Riviera down here. So he said, but if you want to do it locally, which he said I would highly recommend as well, he said, I'll recommend Mr. Neeshaw and Penny McManus, who is the other surgeon at the time, and still, as far as I know, still them two are the two consultants there, the main consultants. He said they will do an excellent job. I trained them, and I will put my trust in them to take this on board. So he said, if you want to use my name and get referred on and things, he said, I'll fully support you. So Helen wrote to Mr. Neeshaw And Mr. Neeshaw said he would love to see me to do the chest. So we went back to the GP. The GP referred us to get funding to the PCT at the time, and we told Leeds Gender Clinic, and they referred me to the appropriate people, PCT and Mr. Neeshaw. So I had 3 referrals going to Mr. Neeshaw. I saw him in the December. It was the December 2009. And in the January 2010, I had my first liposuction because I was going to have my chest done in stages. And this was a very personal choice. It was to minimise scarring, and also it was around the fact that my mum didn't know I was transitioning. So I was doing things very slowly. As she'd lost my dad as well, just as I started transitioning. So that's why I chose to do my chest in stages, because he said to me, with the size of my chest, it could take up to 3 years to actually complete the job. Well, it is now 2013. I will be going to see him on Monday, next Monday, to see if he wants to just finish up and tidy up any dog ears or anything that he wants to finish up. And I'm very happy with what he's done. So that's all for the good. And I know that since I went and I was his first trans man in 2010, he's had numerous referrals. He's done really good work. I've seen his work. And through Helen and I, Leeds and Mr. Neeshaw made the connection, and he's now actually got the contract to for the area. So, you know, it's really worked out really, really well for everyone. So, anyway, moving on swiftly. I had my first chest surgery in January 2010. And then as soon as that was underway, I wanted to have my lower surgery. Now, I got referred by Helen again, referred by my GP, and referred by the gender clinic to the UK team, St. Peter's Andrology in London. And I got my appointment to go to them in May 2010. And they were very, very quick. And only that I was having my chest done at the same time. When I went for the initial consultation for my phalloplasty, they said, can you come in like ASAP if we get a cancellation? And I said, well, I can. I said, but I'm having my chest done in stages, so I'm about to have a chest lift on the next session. So what do you want me to do? So they said, well, you talk to your surgeon and we'll get the funding in place and we won't have a problem with Hull. We're very good. He said, and then you let us know what your surgeon says in Hull and we'll coordinate it round the chest. So that was brilliant, and I had my gender reassignment surgery in September 2010, and that was over 4 stages, and I had finished all the 4 stages by the July 2011, and my chest, I'd had everything done on my chest by then as well. Well, by the September, I'd had 2 chest lifts by the September out of the 3 that I was going to be having. So, I was virtually on the way to completion with the chest. But all my gender reassignment was complete. So that was a very, very fast process. And as I say, all the only other problems I've had have been technical itches around the erectile device, but that hopefully now sorted. So yeah, so that was my process. Everybody's been brilliant with me, the nurses, the doctors. I've had really I've had a really smooth process, and I know that isn't the same for everybody. And that's why hopefully, Helen and I can help if anybody has any problems, with things. And that's what we're here for. So, if there's any questions about the process or anything you're unsure of or anything I can help you with, then feel free to leave me a message under here, or you can contact me on felix.familiar@hotmail.co.uk or through my Facebook. Anyway, that's all for now, and if there's anything else I can help you with, just let me know. Okay, bye folks.